like everybody, well, you kind of one in this group probably that's done, you did the stud breeding, been an owner, done all aspects of it. What advice you give people nowadays on the owner part of it?
Kill them.
Now that you've been the owner.
Being the owner?
Yes. How you do it? You forget you own them, you turn them loose to the trainer, or you want to be more hands-on?
Westfall testified, don't turn them loose with the trainer.
Me too.
Tag two. They got, I do it as a hobby,
Right.
Yeah, and of course, I love to go see my horses.
Right.
I tried the race horses a little bit, but I didn't
It's not
enjoy
as
just going
hands-on.
race track.
Yeah, it's just not as hands-on.
So, I think any owner, we're horse trainers, you got to keep an eye on us. It's not an easy place to make a living. We'd all made a lot more money.
But of all those areas, I think being an owner is the roughest one of all of them. You have no control, but it's all on your money. All the other part's the fun part.
Yeah. Well, I'll testify to that. Two of my trainers sitting right over there. Well, they're pretty nice. They put up with me, I think.
Well, I mean, you've seen all aspects. I was just curious.
It's very simple. Somebody asked me the other day at a little meeting, said, I want to make $3 million in the cutting horse business.
Wow.
That's my goal. I said, I hope you're starting with 9.
That might not do it. I don't know if that would do
That was
it.
old days.
That's in the 70s.
Yeah, that might.
Yeah,
Well, I've been pretty honest with most of mine. I pretty much told them they weren't going to make any money. I mean,
For the owners don't want to hear the
that
truth.
comes in and
Some
buys
don't
the
want to
one,
hear it.
they don't want to hear it. But you may as well let them know that the only avenue out is if this colt makes a good enough colt that by golly you might be able to sell some colts by him and him win enough to pay him for his show career.
Oh, a lot
Because-
of expense just to even get there.
I got 50% off the top all the time, except for the Wichita days. I got 40% off the top, but they paid a big salary. But and I explained it to them this way. I said, listen, if I increase the value of your horse, that's not going to make me a dime. So what I can do right now is the only way I'm making my living. So but as we've evolved and we've got more owners riding, the urgency of them making any money went out the window a little bit. They're in it just like we are. They're addicted to the damn
Probably
game.
more of that right there now than ever, though. More hands-on owners,
Oh, yeah.
obviously younger.
And that was the
people.
only way this business could grow. We weren't growing enough trainers to fill the head count.
No, how many did he breed last year? One man?
3,500 mares 2 years ago. This year, 6,000.
Okay. Somebody
Back
got it
now,
right.
yeah.
Wasn't breeding for.
I mean, I might want to print all this stuff. I want to use this. But I think about 10, 15 years ago, I called AQHA to try to find out how many cutting bred horses we were raising. And it was right at 7,500. And of course now, we've got with the amateurs in there, and they're taking a lot of horses. Snaffle bidders buying a lot of horses. The ropers are taking a reject. So we've got a lot of outlets, but
Yes.
we got a lot of horses. We got a lot of horses coming.
Got more outlets than we've ever had.
Yeah,
Well, I
Some more
sold two.
horses. I mean, the quality of the horses.
amazing.
I mean,
I'm so proud of our breeding because our breeding that we promoted is doing all the events on
That's
those
where it came
Timor.
from.
I mean, it's incredible
Oh, yeah.
what cutting.
I mean, Doc Barr and
It's incredible.
Pocotivio turned things around.
Yeah, and you can't say enough about Doc Wall because there's not a horse today, and there hadn't been for 5 years in the cutting.
It's incredible.
That goes to the fraternity. Used to be we'd have some paints and some amps. We'd have Doc Wall. There's not one today. I told Frankie Merrill this a while back, and he said, "Oh, we can find it." I said, "Show me one." He had never come up showing me one. They all got a little Doc Bar back in. And thanks to 3 bars there, I mean, he started the whole.
Well,
he changed the whole
You
industry.
got Leo Sand. You got Leo Sand pretty stout in there
Yes,
all the way
yes,
up.
and Leo's, the Kings, and the 3 bars.
You talking about them taking that. You're doing good, and them taking them horses. As my career got to going, and I missed the final. I caught road at the fraternity. First time I come to the fraternity, I caught road for you.
That's right.
And you won the fraternity. And I think you'd won the fraternity the year before.
Yep.
And then I worked for
4-3.
Shorty the year after him, and he won the fraternity, and I thought, well, shit. these guys know how to win. Hell, everybody in Phoenix won. So I thought, well, I'm in a good spot. Well, anyway, I get mustered there and get my own little deal going. I take this guy's little backyard bred mare from Bakersfield, California, that he raised by his own stud, and come up here and I make the finals in Turkey. And I end up 8th. I didn't know how to win it. I had a lot of horse, but I didn't know how to win it. I didn't, you know. And I'm sitting down there out there behind the judge's stands. He walks right up in front of me. I'm waiting to go get my buckle. And I'll never forget it, his exact words were, well, you just didn't get her showed.
Who was it said that?
Bud Burke was his name. And needless to say, I didn't take it real well. Some of that old Bill come out in me. You know, but I'm thinking, I made it a point to let him know that the 400 and something that didn't cut that night that were watching us didn't get their show.
You did tell him that?
Yes.
Good.
Because, I mean, she wasn't going to bust my bubble that night. I damn near didn't ride that mare down there for that buckle after I threw the bridle rein around at him and stepped off, but I went ahead and got back on her. But people didn't understand just how hard it is to get it pulled off over there.
No.
And especially pulled off on that particular night.
And any of us that won one time, when I won 73, I just knew I was going to win 2 or 3 more times. You know, I won a couple Super State, a couple Derbies.
Well,
No more
I made
fraternities.
finals 11 times before I won it. I just gave up.
11 times.
Yeah, I thought,
That's amazing.
hell, there ain't no way he's gonna get one. Well, like Tommy, when he won it, hell, he didn't have a clue he's gonna win
You
it.
know, but in the day when there wasn't as many events, the heartbreaker was missing in the finals, a half a point. When you didn't get to go show that horse again for months.
Yeah.
You know, that was what was
Hey, we had 3 events. We had the fraternity, the Pacific Coast fraternity, and the Derby. That's all we had.
Yeah.
that was it.
We had 3 events. So like you said, when you missed it, you was a
Well, it was a
long time.
heartbreaker for
You
me.
couldn't go to Abilene the next week
Hey,
and
shit, I'll
show
tell
in
you what, now,
January.
I drove home from here in 5, 6, and 7. I was chewing nails from here to Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because I'm like, I was pretty damn sure of my little ass pointing one up there. You know, hell, I won the little Pacific Coast fraternity in 76, and then come right back and win the Derby on my little Gilding in 77, and I'm beating some real horses. I was pretty convinced I was fixed to come up here and do well.
Took a while, didn't it?
Oh, goddamn.
When Mike won the fraternity, Ag now sitting upstairs, his first go ring, his first horse in the bunch. He drops his hand down and there's goddamn cows everywhere. I'm talking about, they're surrounded him. And he gets through this with a 14, I think,
Yeah.
14 and a half.
Well, they 13 and a half, and then they adjusted it up.
Okay, to a 14, right?
Yeah.
And I told her, Tag told me, he said, man, if he gets through the run, we ain't gonna beat this horse. My God, he got through the run.
You know, we used to screen those 2-year-olds with 1 to 10, you know, when that
I
filly
know.
was a 2-year-old. But there was Randy Cherry on that filly, and the cow never turned around with her. Cow just walked around straight, never just slobbered down the panels, and I marked her a 9 out of 10. She just trotted across her like a coyote going across the pasture, you know. And
Hell, he didn't break her till July.
Yeah.
You
she
know,
was so little.
but she was wild. Shit, and she wasn't broke. I got her home. You couldn't lope the circle.
How many years did you make the finals total?
Um,
I mean, what, you and Terry Riddle probably got along
I
there.
don't know. They said 29, I don't know.
29?
Yeah, total.
No kid.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I knew Terry was 20-something there when he passed, 23 times, I think, is what he had made it 10 or something. I thought that was,
I know one thing on my snaffle bet record, and my cutting record, my snaffle bet was better. I never missed the finals up there.
there you want to know.
Never missed the final. I missed a lot of finals.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of covered the preparation like of horses. To me, is totally
Oh, yeah.
different.
Everybody's got their favorite. My favorite's Playmate. Give a whopping $5,000 for it.
And she was world champion in 78, right?
Yeah, I bought her off Smoky Pritchard. I drove all the way from Oakdale to Cottonwood, about 3.5 hours to get up there, and she's not broke to run. Little fat brown, little neck was about that long, you look like. Ears are too big, no white on her, and he's chasing her around the pen. That's the best, one of the best bridle horse guys going. And I said, I don't care about running around her. I said, get on her, ride her. He said, oh, she's not broke her down. We were pretty good friends. I knew that sucker when he rode on the bed. been passing ropes up there. Anyway, not passing ropes, San Luis Obispo. And I wanted to kill him. And so Myrna was with me, and she said, "There's something about that filly." I said, "Yeah." She's a little fat, unbroke, 3-year-old with no white on her, and her ears are too long. And it wanted $10,000. I told him, I said, "I'll give $4,000 for her." He said, "Oh, he won't take that." I said, "Break it right." I started leaving. He said, I'll call. So anyway, he called up there, and the guy took it. Finally, she was halter broke. Finally get her in a trailer. I'm driving home thinking, I need to find $4,000. I'm trying to raise a family of 3, you know, a 3-acre place in Oakdale, California, riding anything that I can catch or somebody bring me, you know. And I go spend $4,000 for an unbroke 3-year-old. And rode her about 16 times. Went to take the cows out of the arena. Had some old roping steers in there. One old steer stayed in there. And as I rode to her, I got probably as close as here to y'all. And this steer just threw his head back like that to lick. She just went and stayed. I thought,
Good $4,000 investment, huh?
well, she was broke to ride by 10 o'clock the next morning, though. But anyway, she was anytime, anywhere, any ground, any kind of cows, she just came, you know. Didn't take lots and lots of loping. That year I had her on the road, worked her about 5 times, so.
Huh.
In the old days, like in the 70s, here at Will Rogers, we'd have ground maybe that deep, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the ground's improved, so I mean, everything's improved, but I mean, I never injected a horse until '92. And, you know, we gave them a little Banamina Butte if they were sore, and if they didn't limp, we didn't.
Well, if you list you as a favorite son here, there wasn't no place to work.
No.
Oh, no place to work.
That year I worked for Shorty, you know, he let me work that mare all year, which, and I asked him pretty regular, "Hey, Shorty, you think you need to work this mare?" You know, he never said a word. Well, when we got here, maybe it was after the first go, and I said, "Man, Shorty, my mare needs to count. She's hot." You know, I said, "She needs to be worked." He says, "Well, saddle her up and bring her in here." So I saddled her up, take her in the Coliseum. He turned back for a few people. She's worked.
Yeah,
Back to stall.
but no, there was no practice pen, so.
No, you better show up Fort Worth on the train, or halfway train.
In the old days, I don't know about the younger Doc Bar mares, but Lynx was the first one in '72 that I knew you had to learn. And some of those lynxes were a little crazy anyway. But I don't remember before that, loping them things 3 or 4 hours.
The only
Spending
one.
that much time on.
The only one I had was Doc's Jubilee. Not Doc's Jubilee, Doc's Bay Mare. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Doc's Toodaloo.
She was a little wild, but but I mean, the Doc Bars, of course, they brought the thoroughbred blood in.
If you're gonna take an overhead of a cutting,
Generation had
back
heck with
then,
that.
the arena would be different. Be nobody loping, and everybody on the back fence jerking left and right before the cut started. I mean, it's just totally different ballgame. It's just
I
crazy.
rode with Lynx Mark on one of the super stakes, and ever small futurity joking. But she would, I don't know what was wrong with her, but her temperament would build up, and then she would just go nuts for about a day. Well, she was, Bill Freeman, we're at the Lazy at the, what do they call that, Gold and Silver?
Masters and Golden Silver.
Yeah, they did. They had the last
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, the last,
Yeah.
right.
They had them big pits dug, and you dump your manure in the pits. Well, she was at the peak of this seizure she was having or whatever. And I told my wife and the girl at work force, y'all go get the rooms, because that's back up her town, you know. So I saddled her, and I was ride her out in that chip pit. And it's deep. I'm talking about deep. Well, I'm sitting in the pit with her head up. You can't see saddle horn or nothing. I just got her nose sticking up. The Bill's on that old, kind of done, big old Palomino done.
Oh, yeah.
He rides up her and he said, "Hey, what you doing?" I said, "Well, I got a horse underneath here." He said, "You're kidding me. I said, no. He said, hold on. He goes over his trailer, gets the rope, and he gets it on the saddle on, and we drag her out of there, and I win the gold and silver on that. And
They were very different.
Tag. She's in one of these moods again, and we're at Waco, and I think they're going to have what they had, 5- and 6-year-old down there that year or something.
We had Derby there one year.
Yeah, they did the.
But we had Derby back in the.
Waco, yeah, that's where I wanted to
Well,
go.
they had all the dirt piled up out there, going to put it in the building, but we're working in the load barn, and Perry Lee is going to show it for me, because you couldn't show up one then. And I had Miss Katie Kyoto and her, and I told Tag, I said, you take that mare out there and, well, I forget about it, you know. I'm working horses, I forget about it. So when Pete Branch comes in, he said, you better come out here. He got her up on the top, but she's hung up and hot and can't get her down. She just kind of rolls down that mountain sand. And Perry Lee showed up at that time. She's got sand and lather everywhere. And he said, well, hell, I can't show that mare like that. And Tag ran her off and won junior or whatever we showing him on that. But she would do that. She would have, I don't know what you call it. The only one I ever had in my life that would do that.
Leon was there in 1982 when we rewrote the rules, and there was 10 of us there. Sam Wilson, Matlock, and Buster, and we got Matlock and Buster to agree. And, I mean, this is a pretty good little deal.
Yeah, we
Is it running down?
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Anyway, Zach gets us, actually, I've got to give Buster the credit for it. He said, you know, we've got to clean up this judging system. If we don't, we can't advance. And so we kind of cleaned it up a little bit with the 5-man system, which really helped. And so Zach gets Leon, I, Denny Dunn, Sam Wilson, Matlock Rose, Buster Welch. There was 10 of us. Anyway, we all get together and go out, and we're going to rewrite. Really have a rule book. We're going to have a rule book, and Bill will end up helping the deal. But we get together out there, and back then they still weren't taking you for wave 101 rate, you know. And I'll never forget. I love Matlock, but I asked him one time. I said, "Why are you always telling your horses what to do?" He said, "I've cut a lot more cows than they've cut. I'm gonna tell them what to do." Anyway, but the long story short, we get Buster and Matlock. It's still in that same picture. I could see them standing next together, and they agreed with all these penalties. And anyway, that's where we come up with the hot quits and the handle, you know, moving, using the reins and having misses and points and differentials.
There was not a hot quit.
Right.
Not until '82.
There wasn't no hot quit.
No.
Right. And then
I mean, if you go,
And then Zach, I'll never forget him. He hadn't been, Zach Woods run the association for a long time. He showed cutters back in Arkansas, and then he didn't show when he worked for us for 30 years, and he was older. And we put him on a horse at that clinic, at the deal. And when he gets off the horse, he said, "If I'd known how hard it was to keep your hand down the cut, I'd never let y'all pass these rules." That was a pretty wild little experience.
there was no hot
What do you remember about that?
there wasn't no switch rule, really.
Well,
I mean, unless you just.
First, we went out there and Buster had them ideas about putting these lines across.
Oh, I remember that.
You know, it's different, it's impossible. But anyway, that was kind of funny. I was talking at one of the meetings up around the thank you, the board of directors meeting, something, they're going on, they're on this hot credit bill again, hot credit bill, you know. And I said, I found out, I said, hey, this is simple. You know, I said, we'll just do away with it like we used to. Oh, no. I said, okay, that's fine. Okay, the new rule will be the only way that you can go at a cow is if your horse is stopped or you're looking away. Said there'll be no more penalties. You won't have to worry about it.
I looked away a lot myself.
Looked away.
You're looking away. Well, I've never been very popular anyway in that situation. That didn't help it, but I thought it was kind of humorous.
You know, the hot quit rule put us through hell for a long time.
Well, there would be a damn sign up every time you rode under the damn gate of the new hot quit rule.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was pretty regular.
It was 45 degrees, and then it was the rear end rule. And then it was, you
And then it
know,
got worse.
Shit.
If it
if it
where did
lifted the
snow?
leg.
It was hot. I mean,
Hey, the first aged event I judged, I was a nervous wreck. Not
So
my
you
fault.
judged an aged event?
Yeah.
And you weren't showing?
No.
I can't believe that.
And I got Stanley Bush and Jack Newton with me.
So it was just 3 or 5?
3.
Well, that was in the old days.
Yeah. So I'm a nervous wreck. It's the first age event and everything. Well, we're upstairs there at Lufkin or Nacogdoches, I don't know which one it was. And it's a big window there, you know, they're riding around before we cut. Jack said, come here, boy. Off the door. He said, you see that big-headed son of a bitch right there? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, he don't win nothing here.
Jack knew himself.
Yeah. So I said, well, I can't do that. You know, he's got it coming. I can't do it. Well, sure enough, he wins first go-around, this guy. And he's mad. He's mad. But he only wins.
So all three of you were judging? Or
All
just
three
you?
of us. All three of us judged.
So Jack must have given him something then.
They gave him enough to win the go-around. Well, anyway, we're getting the second go-around, and they're cutting Mexican steers. And he runs up there and stops this white cow. I mean, he stops it. Well, he's on it. Well, the black one mounts him. And the white one runs off, he just stays with the black cow. Well, I get him for a switch, and that's Sam's system. And you know Stan, he's the funniest white man I've ever met, you know? Well, he don't get him. So he knows we're going to have to read it. And so Jack said that.
So Jack took him to?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Jack said, you gave him for switch? And I said, yes, sir, I did. And he said, Stanley, you didn't get him for switch? He said, well, I seen it, but hell, all the clay done gone out of the wagon. And he switched. I got one on bill for him, too. We're judging Reno. Neither one of us got the card. And with Russell McCord. And anyway, there's a guy there that he's passed now, but he helps a lot of non-pros and stuff, big old boy. And he'd let cattle come down both sides of him, you know, when he let them come back. Well, Gary was next to me, and then this camera lady was, or the video lady was next to Gary. Well, every time he'd do that, you could hear Gary over cussing him. So I told her that night, I said, hey, turn that volume up when I bump your box. So sure enough, he's letting cattle go down every direction, you know, and Gary said, you stupid son of a bitch. Well, I called a penalty point so I could get him in there, you know. And so they called me in there. Said, hey, we got a spread here. And I just said, give me that card, and I just changed it, put it back like it's supposed to be. I said, make sure you turn that volume up and get Gary in here. And Russell's sitting in there with me. He hadn't went in there yet. And you could hear, I mean, he had it loud. He said, you stupid son of a bitch. Well, that was hilarious. Gary said, oh, you're sorry. He used to hang about 5 busted welt bridles up down there, you know, in the practice pen. And he would come to my stalls and ask me for a clapper for the, about 5 o'clock in the morning, he'd come down and give a clapper from them horses around them alleyways and stuff. He was handy.
I gotta tell you good about them bits. You know, so before Buster influenced Gary to throw his snaffles and bits away, we were at Sun Circuit there one year, and they brought Buster's turnback. We were using Gans because that big old outside arena, and they'd come in from the other end, and they brought old rabbit in for Buster to turn back on, but they hadn't brought him a bridle. And he'd made a comment, and boy, Gary, he says, well, I got some. He grabs his whole bridle rack and shoves it around there. Well, Buster, he just dissects it. He don't just grab a bridle, you know, Buzz. He looks at this one, and we're talking iron.
Yeah.
You know, Gary had some artillery. And he's looked at 3 of them now, and then he looks up and he says, how do you ever get a horse to run? It literally busted that guy's, I busted Gary's bubble. He just wilted.
Well,
Yeah, it's like, because he thought so much of, well, how much he thought of him. He threw every iron bed away and every snaffle, and here's a guy that was a reinsman that
Oh, yeah.
could have won the snaffle bit, just didn't stay
He
with
was 4th in the fraternity the year I won.
Yeah.
Gary was, he
Unbelievable.
couldn't snap the big guy.
You know,
Unbelievable.
I mean, well, Leon, I judged it. We judged the herd work once. I judged the herd work twice, and then I got to judge the costume reining. They let me do that. I figured I couldn't screw it up too bad. Well, they didn't care in that. It was just about costumes. It didn't matter who won the reining, so I didn't have to be that precise.
Yeah, I judged that Cowboy farm through 2 different years.
I tell you, Leon and I saw one of the best runs you'll ever see on a 3-year-old out of the herd, and I believe her was Sugar Nick, Greg's mare.
Yeah.
well, won the snaffle bit for him because Ronnie had him. We don't know what the scores are accumulated, but his herd work was, I marked him like a 78. And he beat Ronnie enough in the herd work that he won the snaffle
Was it
bit.
Sugar Remedy?
Sugar Remedy.
Yes.
Sugar Remedy, yeah.
Because I took
Yes.
it on Augusta,
Yeah.
1 second on Augusta.
And I judged it the year Bobby won it on Doc and Missy.
Boy, she was, boy, that was,
Yeah.
I mean, see, I tried to get Milner to buy her when she sold her at Santa Rosa as a 2-year-old.
Doc and Missy.
I called him and I said,
Yeah,
'cause
Bobby
she was
had
out-
her then,
She was
yeah.
out of old Missy Hankey, you know, and that's who I'd got. And I called him and I said, hey, her damn daughter Doc Bar up here out of Missy Hankey, pretty good mare, or looks like. And anyway, he said, well, go to 25 on her. I said, well, she blew past that pretty quick. That was the first time I'd heard Dan Lufkin's name. He had jumped in.
So who had her to sell there?
Bobby.
Bobby did.
Bobby.
And he got to keep her after that. Yeah.
Well, no, they hauled her to suit her.
Oh, that's right. That's
went
right.
on
I forgot about it.
Before the snaffle
Yes.
bit?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was going to be a cutter.
Yeah, wow, I didn't
Well,
know.
Bobby got her back pretty soon after that.
Yeah, I mean, she couldn't have been
That's
there.
true.
I just asked him if she hauled good, because Missy Hankey was a trailer fighting some buck, and I thought, well, if she passed anything on, that might be it.
Yeah, she is hard on mattresses, wasn't she?
Yeah, we were going to Piscinas. You know how crooked that road is going into Piscinas? And Mr. Pat's following me. And I've got Wayne Vaughn's 2-horse side by side with a ramp, and I've got a mattress
I
behind.
know, on each side, wasn't it?
And holy smoke, she has her one of them fits. And you just had to stop. So I dropped the ramp. Well, this time she managed to kick through and hang a shoe into one of them springs. So she's got this mattress out on the highway, slinging it around. And of course, there's no traffic. It's just a trail.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
no.
Pat don't even come up and help me. I look back there and he's laying on the ground laughing. Rolling around on the damn highway. And I'm like, I'm in a wreck up here, you know? She bowed that trailer. Wayne was pretty pissed when he got it back. It was round. It's like, she had round.
The
I
side
don't know how
part
many
of it
times
is.
I've unloaded that mare. I managed to I recruited a bareback rider that summer to drive along with me, and I'd have to unload her, because like I said, I went to Idaho and Utah, up there in the country, and I'd have to unload her on the side of the road, saddle her, lope her down the side of the road for a while till her brain turned back over, and then we'd throw her in and try it again.
Wow.
And you know what I found out the next year? Because we still had it the next year, and my little brother was showing her a little bit, and I had a little mare I was turning back on, and we threw them in the stock trailer with no petitions,
They
and
were
that
okay.
bitch never moved.
Isn't that something?
Greg all won for a long time.
Oh, that one now, she'd just,
Just tear her sides completely.
well, so did
off.
Missy Hankey.
Yeah.
I mean, you could load her in the morning, not even untracked, she might have a fit. Or you
Before
might-
you moved.
Before you moved.
I remember that old mattress there on her side.
We had one called Rocky Sugar stud horse, and he fought trailer bad. This guy named Stan Greenwood lived down there, running. And good old, but he'd fight that trailer bad. So he comes out there one day, because he's been bruised up. And he said, "Let me borrow your inline, pull behind." Told Sonny. He said, "All right." And he just loads him up and goes to pasture. I'm talking about just slinging that son gun. When we get him unloaded, we got to take one of them old handy dandy jacks and jack it back together so we could lock the door on him. But it fixed him. He never moved from that moment on. I wouldn't have done it, but he
Has
owned it.
anybody ever had a trailer fighter in the last 15 years?
No.
Not with these new trailers. I mean, think what we made them horses
I got a
travel.
mare,
Well, some of them were little 36 inches too.
Yeah.
we had, Oliver we had a 44-inch wide Macquarie built for that mare. Well, that one didn't start. So we ended up going to that, I just borrowed that side by side with no petition in it, and that was as wide as we could get, I guess. Stock trailer might have been better.
I had one that caught it bad. My neighbor, rodeo producer, had a bunch of bucking horses. And I said, "Bob, where are you going?" He told me up there somewhere. I said, "How long them horses gonna be on there?" He told me. He said, "Well, we put them back on there every day, feed them in the trailer." And I said, "Well, load up half of them." These little old roan stud about that big, long, bright and greasy. And he'd be at the bottom of the trailer, if you went there far. Just throw him in there. He's there 2 days with them bucking horses. He didn't get down no more. I mean, they had stomped that son.
Well, imagine. Mercy.
But that broke him. And a good horse, but I wasn't gonna tolerate it.
Hey, should we mention anything about judging in the old days?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, we think the judge might be a point off here, a point off there. I know the first year I went to fraternity, I'll never forget, Luke Walker, Willard Davis, and somebody else were judging. I had Ducks Misty Moore. I marked 67, 72, 72. And second go round, I marked 72, 73, 68. Willard Davis, 9 points low on me. And I'll never forget, I was married to Tootie at the time, and at that time the three judges would come out kind of on that one side over there, like if you're judging on the left-hand side, and they'd hang around on the side of the counter with her. And I'll never forget, I went by Willard Davis, and I said, you don't know me, but someday I'm going to even the score. I never did. But he was 9 points low, and then nobody said a word about it. I mean, that's just the way it was.
Well,
I missed going to semis by a point.
I can give you the same story I did the year we had three judges, separate bull runs, three judges for
Yeah,
one go.
that was 96.
Okay, well,
I mean 76.
if I remember right, semifinalists voted on the 3 out of the 6 who was going to judge the semis. And I mark a 3, a 2.5, and a 70, and I missed it a half a point. And now, I don't know that I got the horse to be in that caliber that I had him trained, but same thing, that 70 cut my knees off now.
That was 76, and we voted for it. I've never seen Zach Woods out of kilter except one time, and because we had voted for it, that we, after each go-around, you would go, well, they had 3 judges one go-around and 3 judges next. And Mel Chartier was one of the judges. And anyway, so for the semis, that we're supposed to have voted and had the judges. Well, we didn't get to vote. And we
Because
got
I
to
don't
vote-
remember voting.
We got to vote for the finals. You weren't in the final, that's why you don't remember.
I didn't
But
get to
I
vote.
kind of got on.
But I remember who marked me a 70.
I got on Zach's rear.
40-something years ago.
Because it had already been set in the executive board that they were going to vote for him. But he said, I just couldn't get it done in time. And
The second year I was there,
yeah.
had that Doc Ginger bar mare. She was a nice mare. You know, I'm strong when it goes, you know. I'm not gonna mention this guy's name, but he said, what in the world did you ever do to such and such?
So-and-so, huh?
And I said, nothing that I really know of, you know. And he said, well, he dropped 3.5 points below us to keep you from going.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff back then.
You know, I mean, that was regular shit. That was
I'll tell you
regular
one
stuff then.
funny one, since they're both gone, and anyhow, you could have told it if they were still here. And I wasn't very old, but we had the Sun Circuit out there at Hughes and Gans. And I did pretty good. We had anyway, I did pretty good in the open the first day, but I didn't go show in the open the second day, and Stanley was judging, and Matlock was out there, and I was pretty sure Matlock was going to win the cup.
He lost a count one.
So when I got out there, shit, all these people, I got hit up out there in the parking lot, all these people pissed off. I think Matlock won it, and like 5 of them split second with 73, you know.
He lost a count winning.
And I thought,
Was that?
you guys, I'm the youngest one here, and I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Shit, I grew up watching Don Dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Don Dodge tells me one time, he said, I don't want, and I liked old Don, don't get me wrong. He said, I don't want what I got coming. I don't want what I got coming. Last 1, last 2, I want at least 3 more than I got.
Well, he got him.
And he'd hire the judges for all the shows out there, all the
He
fairs.
won everything out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
My first
You can tell stories about him.
Sure
My
can.
first real good run.
What's that?
My very first real good run was in San Antonio at the livestock show. And it was my very best run I'd ever had at that time. And Matlock blew his cow and Buster blew his cow, I went third.
He went first and second.
Yeah, and Matlock said he looked better losing one than I did holding.
Wow. I mean, they just took it.
And they think that it's rough now.
Oh,
You know
my
what?
God.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
Yeah.
You're talking about Dodge, you know, I told you that story a while ago about Date Bar, Pencil Bar. Well, the reason that I lost them horses was that Dodge had went to the Starlight Ranch and told them that he could do a lot better job than I could.
Okay.
And Dodge told some people, well, I'll get them two winners away from him, that'll be the end of that okie.
That's just,
You know, bless his little heart, you know. But he set my jaw when I heard that. I said, you ain't seen nothing yet, Jack.
Donna, he pulled, what's her name? Was up one time, and this horse won't unload. And Don asked me to come help him. I was about 13. This horse locked up in there, won't unload. So when he does, it's 9,000 miles an hour, and he knocks Don down. Don loads him back in the trailer, says, Junior, stay hooked here with me, ride on the fender of this trailer. He drives Patty's rig around there, behind our ring, and all was that canal, and the canal was drained. He backs this trailer up on the edge of the canal. Okay, Junior, they always call me Junior, kick the latch. We'll see how she flies out there this time. This horse shot out there and went down that canal bank. And now what's the plan, boss?
That canal bank was hard to climb.
He says, Junior, Scottsdale Road is, how far is that?
Yes, away.
4 miles. He said, just kind of lead her on back and we'll come gather you up. And I had to walk in that deep, that sand. There'd be bicycles and cars in the bottom, leading this mare.
That old canals,
Oh, it's
you know
horrible.
that,
I saw Bill Freeman ride a bad dude in there. We'd ride some bucking horses in there once in a while. We couldn't get rode on tight ground, around bicycles and fenders and the bottom of that thing. It was crazy.
John Carter did that in a lake one
He
time.
did?
Yeah, there at Crockett.
Backed up to a lake.
Yeah, buried Hosey, and he owned the hole. And she do that, run back. You couldn't stop. And he dug it out. That's how he made his living, was digging that sand, and he dug it out. It's 30 foot right off the bank. I lived there. And Tag about drowned his mare there too. But anyway, he just backed it up, let her run out there. Well, she backed it up so much, when she fell out, she come up underneath the trailer.
Oh, my
Well, he
God.
got to pull the truck and trailer up, get her out, get her out from underneath her. That was the last time she run out of that trailer.
Getting on to get
He
this
was a
one.
mess, wasn't he?
oh,
John?
Oh, my God. My hero, but he's a mess.
Oh, my
Who's that,
Lord.
Tom?
John Carter. God dang it, we can write a book talking about him now.
You know, about 17, I graduated, but I was about 17, before I went to service. We come down here, and I went, man, I didn't know that Roy at all then, at that time, but they had rodeo, which he's supposed to be 18. Well, I entered. Roy enters. Well, we end up winning first or second. Well, when we get up there, he said, we found out you boys are 17, we ain't gonna pay you. And so, I was good with it, you know, I mean.
That didn't go
what was I
good,
gonna do,
John.
you know? Well, Roy tells John, you know, well, I'm talking about spank this man. He couldn't get that money to us quick enough, you know, that's sure enough happened. And he pulls up there, I got them Hollywood goals and stuff you was talking about, and they're half-headed. I mean, really, they're half-headed, and one of them bucked real bad, so we go. Sonny got a hold of John, you know, somebody tried. Roy shows up in his stock trailer, and it's got a hole in the floor, and he just sticks that horse in there, you know, and I'm thinking, John said, I don't matter. He said, hell, he worked $200 anyway. They just drove off with it.
Well, we could tell a lot of stories about John Carter.
Oh,
We loved him, but he was one of a kind.
Well, of all the guys we've seen through all the years, who's the guy that pull up and watched him work horses like, I can't touch that? Is there a guy that's just through the years, just certain parts of your career were like, you know,
Yeah.
Working horses?
yeah, just somebody just blow your socks off early on?
Yeah. Again, Scottsdale. Shorty's working and had a bunch of Canadian people there come down, Dodge customers, you know. And we was fixing to go to the finals up there. And Shorty's working some horses. And this one guy said, well, when's he gonna do something? You know, I mean, there was all kinds of things going on. He was so slick and so smooth. But they didn't know. They said, when's he gonna do something? And Dodge's over got the pen over here, and he's slashing them around doing all
Throw
this
that guy on top of
dredging
it.
and stuff, you know. And here's Shorty, man, said,
Their pins were side to side.
Side by side. It didn't look like they were training for the same event, did it?
no, no.
Showing wise, to me, in our group here was mine, to watch him show horses. So, no, I'm serious.
Yeah, right.
It was.
He's good riders was, wasn't he?
Oh, it's unbelievable. And now we have Turner and Kenny Platt
oh, shit.
and
These boys,
Don
they're tiny.
and Wes.
Amazing.
They don't even look like they're up there.
Brand.
They're not even like they're up there. And now the next one, in my opinion, is Phil's boy.
Oh, shit, I've been over there the last 2 weeks
Yep,
watching.
amazing.
It's unbelievable
Boys got some
what
time.
them guys got, you know?
That kid's tiny.
And they sure got some horsepower to respond.
Well, they've had
to
all
that.
the coaching, all the teaching,
Yeah.
and now they got all the horsepower.
Well,
And I'll tell you another one that's.
What we get in the most trouble about with Matlock and Shorty and Buster, when we started that video thing, I mean, they really scolded me. And I know they
What do
did
you mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Well,
but Shorty
John
wouldn't ever tell you that.
first videos.
So when we come out of
Well,
that
they
video,
don't.
we're showing everybody what we know, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And they went, and
Oh,
then
man.
they got upset. Well, in the old days.
Really
In
upset.
the old days, they wouldn't tell you that.
Hell, no.
No.
And God love Buster, he might tell you the opposite to do, right?
I wasn't very smart, but I was smart enough. I stayed away from Buster because I had seen those boys come through there, and none of them had picked up the whole picture. One had this, one had this,
Greg was the only one that caught on.
and I thought, thank goodness Gary's pretty intellectual because it might have went over his head too.
I tell you what, they did jump on me. And I told Buster, I said, Buster, if we're as good as we're supposed to be, we should be able to tell them everything we know and still beat them. It's none of their dang business what we know. They need to figure it out themselves.
Really?
Yeah, my second mistake
Well,
was
Shorty wouldn't ever tell you nothing.
was
He didn't
doing.
know how to though, you know, he just
Right.
didn't know how.
I'm just telling you, no.
When I done that book for Western Horseman, yeah.
Do what?
When I done that book on cutting
Oh,
for
yeah.
Western Horseman, that went over big. That went real big.
Well, Matlock, you go down there 3 days, and Mike's down there, and he never speak a word. But at night, when he come in, they'd have him 2 or 3 tequilas.
Yeah, down by Matlock.
Yep. And then he
Hey,
you know.
Shorty was the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get a couple drinks in him, and he was pretty good.
he was entertaining.
And I'll tell you who else was entertaining after two, Terry Riddle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was on the calculator with him for
I
15
told him I
years.
didn't like him till he drank. But I sure liked him when he drank.
Yeah.
But Shorty, you had to just watch real close.
See, that-
You know,
that's-
wasn't
Shit, I
about-
did for a
Hey,
year.
that's how we learned.
It
We
was
learned by
bad.
watching Shorty and Buster.
Yeah, I mean, it's that simple. I mean,
It's that
I
simple.
took that ideology, you know,
I'm
I
not,
worked so hard to learn how to work a goddamn horse and a hackamore and actually like the work I got. Because now, I didn't have the best hands in that. And I was bound and determined, I'm going to prove this of something. I can train one from a hackamore and hang a damn Buster on him and go show him. I was going to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's challenging.
yeah, well, hands get
Then,
sore.
but that being said, on those Docalina mares, you could get away with that. Hell, them ones I rode out on Tootie's Dynamite, shit, if you pinched them, you'd be a weak, like you said on your mare.
Yeah,
You
see-
had to be careful.
You need to be
I mean,
kind
you had to have some cows and damn sure go get a little fatigue and then you were good.
You know, my afternoons are being done, I ride 2-year-old, I go across the road there with Don, you know, snap a bit and trot, and you just got to hear all, you know, just, it was awesome. I used to always look forward to riding the colt with Don in the afternoon.
Well, one-on-one, you couldn't beat him.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean,
Oh,
it's
he's
just-
entertaining.
One-on-one,
You know, it's a
Don
Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
One-on-one,
I'd
you
never
get
seen
somebody else around.
I'd never seen a snaffle bit when we got out there, little guy, you know, and I couldn't get one in one's mouth. And he was watching me fight it, and I just panicked and go to an iron nose band. I hated that snaffle.
Well, you know,
He said, Junior, thumb, just take your thumb, and he kind of walked me through that, you know, and I just have really neat memories of Don.
I turned back for him there one year when my dad was still at Bear Hills, and it rained, and that pen Don worked in was too muddy on one end, because, you know, he always drove off, so he'd have me sit in there, and, oh, shit, you know how that was. And I was the dumbest little son of a bitch that ever got a horseback. I wanted to go get on my, I had a little mini bike or something I got for Christmas, and he'd tell me, he says, you need to tie that, God, well, you know his language, that mare up, and go get on that damn bike or something. And then at the end of summer, he gave me a Snap-on martingale.
Meant a lot to you,
Oh,
dude.
shit, I had that thing till I was 20-something years
Yeah.
old. You know, hell, I wasn't, but, I don't know, 7th grade, because I'd have to blanket Fizzabar, like blanketing his horses, you know. That was challenging for a kid.
Tell you what,
Getting a halter on her was challenging.
you know, Harry Rose won 57 straight runs in the Hackamore on Fizzabar before Don ever got her. She was
He was
working.
one trainer.
Huh?
He trained her.
Cowbar too.
Huh?
See, I spent summer with
That's right,
Cowbar
Cowbar,
when I was
Cowbar too.
15. He had Cowbar there in Hackamore
Yeah.
that year, and then the next, well, Cowbar bucked him off going uphill one day out there at Guadalupe when he was 4.
Buck Harry up.
Up ahead.
Oh yeah, Little Harry gave, you know, Little Harry went to the NFR. Come
Right,
on. And-
right, yeah.
Well, Harry was a saddle bronc rider, so Little Harry gave him shit now.
Greg Ward, one of my favorite guys, worshiped Harry Roberts, the old man.
Oh,
He worshiped.
I spent the whole summer out there on that ranch, you know, and him and my dad load up, and hell, they'd go to Reno
They
and
were
show and
buddies.
whatnot, and me and little Harry'd stay there on that ranch. Neither one of us old enough to drive then, but shit, he had, I don't know how many of them dogs. He still had some full sisters there, because he put me on some bridle horses, Cut-a-bar or
Cat-a-bar.
Cat-a-bar.
Yep.
She had another sister too, that was a big time.
But he had he put me on some bridle horses now. You talk about broke, but I just didn't get the bug. I wanted to put my hand down and kick one in the belly.
That physical,
That was
she was
important to
beautiful. That was one of the more beautiful horses I remember. She was something else.
I'll tell you what, she done for me. She got me out of my Chuck Shepherd and got me in the cutter quick.
You were on the Chuck Shepherd?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty handy. You know? They're talking about, you know, got this Buster Welch cutting saddle something. I said, I'm not going to be no little Buster Welch looking around or Shorty Freeman deal. I got Fizzborn. I said, who was that guy? Hobbs, New Mexico was.
Yeah.
Daryl Tidwell.
Daryl Tidwell. I called him up, man. I told him.
That saddle weighed about 18 pounds.
Yeah, he had one on
Flat
the
as a board.
Oh,
Greyhound. He had one on the Greyhound coming the next day. Was I tickled to see him?
That camel was hitting you right in the back of the neck, wasn't it?
Hey, I gotta ask y'all, I don't guess they do that much anymore, but I used to see all these saddles 3, 4, 5 years ago with high front ends, and I've never seen one of you guys show a horse with a high front end saddle. I wonder how they sell those horses. Saddles.
I don't have no idea.
Yeah, the saddle horn right up
If
here.
they get it right.
High up, you know.
Looks like an Ansel dashboard.
Yeah.
Hit you right in the breastplate.
Yeah.
No.
I remember Don Font mentioning to Bill Riddle up here at the Crow's Nest one time, because, you know, Bill would get a little aerobic up there. He asked him if he maybe needed to get a saddle and set that saddle horn off to the side a little further.
I'll tell you, I'm Bill Riddle. You know, I love Bill Riddle. You know, he used to lean just a little bit, you know.
I think that's why Gary was suggesting that saddle horn get moved
So
over.
I told Bill, I said, Bill, how do you do that? I said, if I do that, they run off, you know? And he said, well, you dumb son of a bitch, you got to practice at home. I said, no, I didn't practice at home.
And since he's not here, I'm going to tell this one too.
Well, he's alive.
Well, no, Gary is, but this one's on Terry.
Oh,
I forget what year it was. We were sitting up here, and he says, you know, I'll bet he was a damn good calf roper, because he always looks like he's getting off. You know, Gary, he says the fucking right.
That really good player, Mark. What was her name?
Madeira.
There, Docs Madera.
Word, Augusta. And I'm helping.
Florida boss.
And Cal ain't going nowhere. And Terry won't go nowhere. Well, finally she moved, you know how it is down there. Finally she moves and he hangs them in her, and just as he does, that cow stops. And his mouth hit her right on top of the forehead. I said, sit down, Bo.
Hey, I'll tell you a funny judge's story. We was talking about judges a while ago. Jimmy Bush, Gene Suter, and who was that guy from Utah up there that had that?
Bill
really good-
Wilkins?
No,
Bob Wilkins.
no, the old trainer up there. Anyway, they putting on, Jack called me up and said, wanted to know if I'd bring some horses and some non-pro, some riders to Vegas. They're gonna put this cutting clinic on. And since I owed him a favor or two, I said, sure. So I get over there, and they put on this clinic, and they're having a little talk session, and and Jimmy was like all the rest of them at that time, having trouble making the transition from waving that horse around and putting her down, you know. And so this guy says, Mr. Bush, he said, I'd like to ask you a question. Jimmy says, oh, all right. He said, how do you feel about raining? He said, well, I don't think you should, unless you need to. He said, I'd rather see a man rain a little bit and hold a cow and sit on his hind end and lose him.
Go ahead.
I did the NCHA judges clinic with Chubby and Smiley Hill there at Tucson one time. Zach come out, you know, I don't know why they had to come out that far. And Shorty had brought Mowery up there. And then Shorty had kind of gotten a little habit of maybe not being centered.
You think?
And so, it's my turn to critique that particular run, and he's same thing. He
And it
cuts
was
the
Shorty's
cow.
run?
Just
Yeah.
big one off the fence,
You
just
know,
big one off the
cow's
fence.
over there, and Shorty's having to cutting over here, and I mean, shit, there's a lot of people there. And so, he's done, and they were right there.
Give you the
It was
microphone.
my turn, and I went, "Here, Smiley, take this one." You know, I just put that, I left.
You remember that one year he had the knock one there and he pins it, here's the arena and he's cutting over here on the wall.
That's what I mean.
And Mark
That's,
Day-
that's the time he back fisted about 6
Yeah,
times.
Martin 18.
I don't think so. It wasn't the same time, but he looked up at me and said, "You think they seen it?" Yeah. Yeah.
Was that the same deal then?
I don't know.
He got put out. I had a cut into my house there
Oh, my
on
Lord.
Dynamite Road. I don't remember what year. Might have been 1980. I think it was the year. You know, if you think back about that, it looks a little suspicious. I hauled Willie with you all year, and then I judged the finals.
Yes, yes. Well, you gotta have some help.
That was my first 5-judge system. They announced the score there. We're in open boxes. You know, I'm pretty loose about things. Hell, we wouldn't go along very far in the cutting, and Glenn comes on there, and I said, "Glenn, I done figured it out. Set me on a 72, and I'll call you if you want to change it." Boy, Zach comes back on my little box. He's a pissed off son of a bitch. I get a nasty letter and everything at the end of the show, you know, but I can tell real quick, well, hell, my score ain't even count. So just set me in there idle, and I'll look good.
Oh, boy.
First one that we had at Vegas, at Paula's fourplex, the first 5-man judge deal. Well, they posted all 5 scores. Hell, I'm paying no attention. That's the beast of my words of judging, you know. Well, I go upstairs for something. Tom had called me up there, and she's bawling. I mean, she's crying. I don't know. My God, Paula, what's wrong? She said, "Have you seen these scores? It'd be from 65 to 73, you know."
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's terrible. And I said, "Well, don't post them all. Just post 3. Throw them others out." And they did. She's fine from then on. But Augusta, they posted them all, you know.
Oh, yeah, they
It'd be
know.
crazy.
Even when we went through all that here, you know,
Caused a lot of
posting them
trouble.
Oh,
all.
that's crazy. Yeah.
You know, you and I were sitting next to each other on a plane going out there to judge something,
Ready to go.
that millionaire deal. And some lady next to us that used to do a lot of writing was saying, the judges, there'll be a 74, 72, and I said, yeah, but what you don't realize when you're going to print with all that information, that guy 72 was third, just like the guy 74 was third.
Yeah.
I said, that's something you're not seeing, and you're really trying to represent the judges.
She wanted to do that anyway.
Yes.
She got,
You remember that when it was on the plane, she's right
that
across the-
same lady at
I
Augusta,
won't tell the Brady story.
at Augusta, my dad passed away. And I made the finals, you know, I don't know where I ended up, but I left immediately, you know. Well, I get a big write-up about the big dog left before he got his trophy and stuff, you know. So it really irritated. I didn't even call her, I just talked to, what was his name, Run Augusta, Quarter Horse News.
Billy Morris.
Bill Morris, right.
Yeah.
I just called him. She's gone the next day.
Okay, so has that already happened when we're on the
Yeah.
plane? Oh, because I noticed y'all didn't speak.
No.
Well, I believe that's about all of it. These could go on till tomorrow, but I hope everybody enjoyed it. There you go.